ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. Om. Today we will be analyzing the most famous and ideal sukta in Rigveda. Suktam 64. This is from sage Dirghatama. Devata Vishvedeva Vagava, etc. Chandas Trushtup Jagati Prastara Pankti Anushtup, etc. This is one of the longest suktas found in Rigveda. And could be treated as a summary of the 24 suktas presented earlier by the sage. Basic principles of Vedantic philosophy are found in this famous sukta. It contains all the 4 kinds of knowledge in Vedas, including the very essence of Rigveda, Ekam Sat. 164.1 Asya Vamasya Palidasya. Of this old liberal donor Agni, electricity present in the atmosphere is the middle brother. The third brother is the fire, with his back smeared with ghee. The eldest brother, I see him, is the sun, who is the upholder of all beings in the solar world and is made up of 7 colors. We go to 164.2. Before that, we will give some explanations. For 164.1 and 2 together. Energy manifests in 3 forms. As the sun in the space, topmost with respect to earth, as lightning in the middle region, atmosphere, and as fire on the earth. Sunlight contains 7 distinguishable colors: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. 7 names or types of Agni could be atomic, light, heat energy, mechanical, electrical, chemical, gravitational, etc. At any given time, manifestations in nature vary with the space or XY directions. 7 types of Agni could also be those activating the 5 sensory organs, the mind and ego. 164.2, the Ruk is Saptayunjanti. The wheel of time, or sun's chariot, yokes 7 colors or horses. 1 Agni or Ashwa established. 7 names could be 7 forms of manifested energy as mentioned before. 164.3 Imam Ratham Adhiye. Where the sun's chariot with 7 colors is established, where the 7 wheels of time are driven by the 7 Agnis, where these 7 move as sisters, there rest the 7 names of rays or meters used commonly in Vedic hymns. 7 wheels of time may correspond to 7 days of the week, each day having its own presiding deity. Vedic hymns in 7 Chandasas talk about these manifested forms of nature. 164.4 Ko Dadrisha Prathamam. Who sees with his inward turned eyes the first manifested form? Which formless one upholds this material form? Where is the soul of soul or Atma of the earth and the sun, who goes to enlightened source to ask these questions? Seer may be putting these questions to himself or finding out the source of this manifested nature. Significance of these questions itself, most men may not be able to comprehend as implied in the Rik. Only inquisitive minds ask questions. First manifested form is Atmiya Pavamana Soma. Universal unmanifested self upholds this manifested universe. Universal Jivatma is the soul attached to all material forms. Paga Pruchami, immature man that I am, and with an indiscriminating mind, but desirous of knowing the truth, I ask these above questions, answers to which are worth knowing and are concealed by enlightened souls. Wise men diffuse knowledge of the 7 worth-seeing Agnis, which are like 7 cross threads in a cloth among the people. 164.5, this one and the next one, they are more or less self-explanatory. Now we go to 164.6. Ajikitvan, not knowing the truth but desirous of knowing it, I ask knowers of truth for knowing it, and certainly I am not a knower. Who upholds these 6 worlds? Who is that one appearing in the form of birthless matter? The 6 worlds are Bhu, Bhuva, Swa, Maha, Nina, Tapa. Matter can neither be created nor destroyed. This is a theorem in physics. 164.7. Iha Bravidu Ya Imanga. Whoever knows the permanent abode where this praiseworthy universe is held, and who is like the head of the universe, and because of him charming, well-fed cows give us milk, and trees drink up water through their roots. Let him speak out the truth here and now. Permanent abode implies birthless Brahman on which this changing material universe is superimposed. Head means the Lord here. It is quite clear from this Rik that the seer is seeking information about Atma, who bestows existence and consciousness on living beings. 164.8. Mata Pitara. Mother Earth or Prakriti approaches the father, the space or the son or Purusha with devotion. The father also approaches the mother with true knowledge and loving mind to please her. The coy mother comes in contact with the father and gets impregnated with water or rain. As a result, people get good, abundant grain and exchange words of love and gratitude. Sage Dirghadamas starts to give answers to his earlier questions from this Rik. Superficial meaning of the Rik should be easily understandable. Sun's energy pumps up water in the form of water vapor up in the atmosphere. On moving up, water vapor gets cooled, and at some altitude the water vapor condenses and comes down as rainwater. How rain is produced is described in his own words by the seer of the Sukta in the next Rik. Yukta Mata Siddhuri. 164.9. Mother Earth came to be associated with the shaking cloud for giving water, which is being held inside the womb of the cloud. It rose like a calf on seeing the mother cow on account of combination of air, water and light. As a result, Earth gets impregnated and infinite diverse forms take birth on the Earth. Prakriti Mata gets associated with Mahamaya, the great illusion, ignorance, who is like a cloud. This cloud thunders on seeing the combination of air, water, Agni in the atmosphere, producing water particles there. 164.10 Tisro Madru, the one manifested self, Indra, opposed three mothers or forms of basic matter without energy, air, water and earth, and three fathers, energy sources, the sun, electricity or lightning and fire. None can decry his glory. Enlightened souls, through self-study, get the Vedic knowledge, which is a repository of all kinds of knowledge. Then they spread this knowledge accordingly and attain perfection. 164.11 Some of these sliks are comparatively simple and self-explanatory. Dvadasharam Nahi. The 12-spoked wheel of time revolves with respect to the sun, who does not decay. In combination with moon, Agnis or the suns, Surya suns, are 720. The sun in combination with moon gives rise to 24 pakshas in 1 year. Each paksha contains 15 days and 15 nights. So 24 plus 30, 24 into 30 would give 720. These are the pegs. 164.12 Panchapadam Pidaram. Some learned men talk about that protector having 5 feet and 12 forms stationed in the top half of the solar world. Some others talk about a water showering cloud which has 7 concentric circular rims and 6 spokes or seasons. 5 feet of time are Nimisha, Muhurta, Prahara, Divasa and Paksha. 12 Rashis are Mesha, Vrishabha, etc. Some time reckoners describe time in terms of 7-day weeks and 6 seasons based on appearance and non-appearance of rain. Now we go to 164.13 Panchare Chakre. The whole universe rests on this 5-spoked time wheel, which is revolving continuously. Its heavily loaded axle is never overheated or overstressed. Together with its support, the time wheel rotates forever, continuously, without any wear and tear. Weight of the universe may appear to be resting on this time wheel, which is rotating continuously. Thus, the x, y, z, t coordinates are defined for the creation of the universe as explicitly stated in the next trick. Sanemi Chakramajaram. 164.14 This undecaying time wheel, along with its felly or axis or center, moves on continuously. All objects in this universe are held in its 10 directions. Witnessing eye is Atmiya Pavamana Soma, who is like the eye of the sun. Along with other worlds, all objects in the universe are deposited in him. In this rig and the next rig, discussion on time continues. Witnessing I implies Atmiya Pavamana Soma, the witnessing self, representing Atma. Both the space and time are superimposed on birthless Brahman. Nature is a manifestation which is a function of both space and time. 6 seasons are caused by the movement of the earth around the sun. They occur regularly one after another. Each has its own characteristics. Sakam Yanam 164.5. Learned men say that of all 7 born together, one is said to be nature. Knowers say that only 6 seasons or worlds are born from the sun or the self. They, having different forms, move on according to a prescribed time schedule. Striya Satis Tang. Virtuous women say, my soul is a woman, and men say, my soul is a man. One who has his eyes turned inwards beholds it. A blind or ignorant man does not know. A son who is a sage understands this. One who discriminates right and wrong becomes the father of a father, or revered like a father by the father. Ordinary men and women believe the soul possesses or carries a sex, male or female. Atma, being non-matter, cannot be attached to a material body, or Jivatma as such is non-existent. The self can only be perceived by the inner eye or mind's eye. A knower of the self becomes one with the self. Such a sage is venerated by all, including his father, the person from whom the body of the knower took birth. Ava Parena 164.17. The earth, like a cow bearing a calf, stands below the sun, but above the lowest region. She bears men and other creatures in this world with her movement. The path of this earth is not definitely known to a common man. Likewise, they do not know how earth gives birth to living creatures, singly or in groups. The sun is above with respect to an observer on the earth. It is the belief that there are 7 worlds below the earth. This is being implied here. A common man cannot imagine the path or orbit of the earth around the sun. He also does not know about the birth or cause of birth of living creatures on the earth. We go to 164.18. Ava Parena Pitaram. One who knows very well the protector of the world below, or earth, to be the same as the protector of the world above, namely the space, proclaims himself to be knowing beyond this manifested universe. Is there any person like that here in this creation sacrifice, in this knowledge sacrifice, from whom such a brilliant mind takes birth? Logically, all forms of basic matter must have the same origin as implied by the first part of the truth. One who can perceive the origin of the universe is knower of Atma. Last part of the Rik needs no elaboration. Ye Arvanchasta. Articles which are located below are said to move upwards. Similarly, objects high up in the sky are said to be moving downwards. These are upheld by Indra and Atmiya Pavamana Soma. These objects of the universe move around like horses harnessed in a chariot. Here upwards and downwards with respect to level of abstraction. Indra stands for universal manifested self and Soma for flowing essence of Atma. And another famous Rik, 164.20. Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya. Two birds having beautiful wings and knit together as friends reside in the same tree. Among them one enjoys the sweet and ripe fruits of that tree, while the other watches on as a witness without enjoying anything. This is one of the most famous and most often quoted Riks in Rig Veda. Two identical looking birds are body attached witnessing self and Jivatma. They enter together the body of a living creature, which is said to be a tree, at the time of his birth. Jivatma imparts the feeling of I or ahambhava, which is the cause of all activities of the mind and body of the being. This I is the experience of the fruits of actions. Also, body attached, moving witnessing self stands as a permanent witness of all activities of the Jivatma. Atmiya Soma provides this moving witnessing self. 164.21. Yatra Suparna Amritasya. Where these birds with beautiful wings, through knowledge, attain that Lord of the worlds, here into this mind of mine, protector of the universe and knower of truth, Jivatma, Indra enters. He is, I am, a man of mature intellect. When seers Jivatma realizes the truth, or that it is not really attached to his body, it gets absorbed into Paramatma. His mind has no more any existence. Fate of Jivatma is talked about in the next Rik, 164.22. Yasmin Vrikshe. In that tree of matter, these beautifully winged birds or souls settle down in the material bodies of all living creatures, enjoying the fruits of their actions and giving birth to children. They say that the fruits of action is sweet and is the main aim in life. One who does not know the Father, Jivatma Indra, never attains that permanent state. Yad Gayatreyati 164.23. Who placed Agni on the earth? Who created electrical energy from the atmosphere which contains the three forms of matter, water, light and air? Who placed the sun in the space? They who know that attains immortality. Another interpretation is, who glorifies the Lord Protector through Gayatri Chandas, and likewise who glorifies him through Trishtup Chandas and also through Jagati Chandas, he finally attains that immortal state. This is the other explanation. 164.24. Gayatrena Prati Mimite. Riks of Rig Veda are revealed through Gayatri and other chantases. Through Ruks, Sama also came into being. Through Traishtubha, Sukta or Vaga is formed, and through Vaga, Anuvaga or Varga is formed. Rigveda is composed of Ruks with Chandases having 2, 3 or 4 padas. Number of letters determine the 7 Chandases commonly found in Rigveda. Arrangement of Ruks in Rigveda is briefly talked about in this Ruk 1.64.25. Jagata Sindhum, that creator held up the flowing or moving water particles in the atmosphere. He sets up the sun in the space. Creation of the 3 shining objects are attributed to that protector. Therefore, he who excels himself by strength and greatness must be glorified by all. Water is held in the clouds in the form of water vapor, which carries with it heat energy of the sun. 3 shining objects are the sun, lightning and fire, 3 sources of energy or Agni. Protector of water energy is the manifested self. That one is to be meditated on. We go to 164.26. Upahaye Sudugham. I invoke this milk cow in the form of knowledge. Like a skillful milkman, I milk this cow. May the Creator, resembling the sun, reveal to us good Vedic hymns. Getting intensely illumined by them, I shall preach this knowledge. The sage is imagining the self to be a milk cow. He meditates on Atma, the self. It reveals oneness of the self. Knowledge of the self flows out of it in the form of Vedic hymns. He perceives that the self illumines itself like the sun illumines grass objects. It is the state of self-shining space or birthless Brahman referred to in 164.33 to come. Ingranvadi Vasupatni, like a lowing cow approaching her calf lovingly, Earth, the protector of all kinds of treasures, takes water from the cloud, making a rumbling sound. This never to be killed cow, Earth, only gives water to all movable and immovable living beings. May that earth grow for greater and good prosperity. 164.28. Gavirami Medanu. The cow bellows for the calf, which stands with blinking eyes. She licks the forehead of the calf lovingly, making a lowing sound. She licks the moisture of all parts of the calf's body and also nourishes him with her milk. Earth takes care of all living creatures as her own children by providing them a dwelling, food and water. Licking the forehead is to show the loving care of the Mother Earth. 164.29. I am Sa Shingze. This calf, in the form of cloud, bellows towards the earth, who is surrounded by air and rotates about its axis. Earth also revolves in its measured or prescribed orbit around the sun. Earth makes all living creatures active with the group of various articles. Then electricity manifests in the form of lightning during the rainy season. The cloud thunders towards the earth, which is surrounded by atmospheric air. 164.30. Anachaye Turagadu. That self gives a sense of life to the soul, which is fast moving. It stays fixed in the central part of a human body. Immortal self, becoming the soul in a mortal body, moves from one womb to another on its own. The seer goes back to the discussion of Paramatma Jivatma combination once again in the Rig. Only one Paramatma or moving witnessing self seems to impart the essence of life to infinite Jivatmas which move from one body to another. They are just reflections of one Atma on the mind associated with each living body. Apashyam Gova 164.31. I perceive with internal eyes that indestructible protector, the self, who as an individual soul goes through the path of birth, coming, and death, departure. The soul, being bound to its actions, good and bad, takes birth again and again in various planets and in diverse forms, though the self by nature is immortal. This is an accurate description of Paramatma Jivatma as perceived by the internal eye of sage Dirghatama. No more comment can be given on such a beautifully presented Rig. The same comment is applicable to the next Rig, 164.32. Distinction between Paramatma and Jivatma is clearly spelt out by these Rigs. Dyaurme Pita Janita 164.33. The shining space is my protector and creator. Central part of my body is also there. The manifested space is also my kinsman. This vast earth is my mother. Between the space above and the earth below is the atmosphere which is like a daughter to the father. The Father upholds all objects in this place between the space and the earth. The shining space symbolizes birthless Brahman. Before the appearance of the grass space, that birthless Brahman only pervades the heart spaces of each living body as moving witnessing self, or so long as this heart space is occupied by witnessing Atma, the body is alive and active. The sage realizes this when he says that grass space is his kinsman. Physical space, atmosphere and earth are upheld by the Creator, the birthless Brahman, or Atmiya Pavamana Soma, the moving witnessing self. 164.34. Prichhami tva prathamam. O learned man, I ask you, what is the end of the earth? What is the central core of the universe? What is the source of the seed of life? What is the source of supreme knowledge or speech? Answers to these questions follow. Supreme knowledge, speech is Om, the manifested self. Iyam Vedi Paro Anta, 164.35. This place of sacrifice is the end of the earth. The sacrifice itself is the core of the universe. This Atmiya Soma essence is the source or seed of the life. This Vedic hymn, Om, is the source of supreme knowledge or speech. Flowing essence of Atma, Soma, is the source or the seed of this manifested universe. This is how it is being conceived of in this knowledge sacrifice, the Sukta. The manifested earth and other forms of matter end up in Soma, flowing essence of Atma. Therefore, This sukta contains supreme knowledge, birthlessness. Saptarthagarbha. All these riks are wonderfully framed. Saptarthagarbha 164.36. The 7 half wombs which form the seed of the universe are established in Rita of the Omniscient One. With their intelligence, mind and actions, they pervade all worlds. They become inspirers of the path to Supreme Self. The 7 half wombs are the 5 sensory organs, the mind and ego, activated by Paramatma in each body. They are the 7 paridhis mentioned in 10.90.15. They become inspirers for a self-seeking person or truth seeker. Na vijanami 164.37. As long as I do not know I am all this, not knowing the truth, I go through the path of birth and death, bound to my actions and their fruits. When I arrive at those firstborn entities of Rita, only then I attain nature's auspicious speech. Om. A knower of Atma becomes one with Atma and he says, I am all this manifested universe. Until one realizes that, he has to go through the birth-death cycle. Through meditation on the reality or unreality of the five basic forms of matter, the sage is able to arrive at the truthful speech expressed in the sutta as summarized in 164.38, this suk, the new rig. Apang pranedi, immortal self on account of association or attachment with the mortal matter or body made of food matter becomes mortal soul. It, the soul or Jivatma, takes birth with a body which grows with food and water and moves upwards or downwards with respect to the level of complexity of the body and intelligence. The Supreme Self and Soul, witnessing Self and Jivatma, stay together in the bodies of living creatures. The souls are bound to the actions of these bodies and their fruits. Some know this fact while others do not. Rucho Akshare Parame Vyoman 164.39. Rigveda rests in the indestructible Supreme Self, Paramatma, in which all shining bodies or enlightened beings are upheld. One who does not know that, what can he do with Rigveda? Who knows this truth? They attain that state of the Supreme Self from which no one ever returns. The sage makes this categorical statement that Rigveda rests in the Supreme Self, which he is. He is said explicitly in Rig 164.46. All shining beings manifest because of that self. One who attains that becomes one with that. 164.40. Suyavasar. May we become possessors of all kinds of wealth and enjoy happiness and drink the juice of knowledge. Oh, never to be killed cow of knowledge, Veda, grazing always and everywhere. May you eat good grass and drink pure water. May Vedas grow with more and more hymns as more and more seers of suktas describe their experiences in ever new hymns. 164.41. Gauri Mimaya, the cows of knowledge, Riks of Rigveda, having one pada, two or four padas, etc., with 8 divisions, 9 parts, and thousands of letters, pervading the Supreme Self, flow like pure water for the welfare of mankind. The sage reverts back to the description of method of presentation of Rigveda. 4 Vedas and Upavedas of each make 8 divisions of Vedas. Knowledge supreme, which pervades all, could be 9th. Tasya Samudra Adhi 164.42. From that speech Rigveda, ocean of words flow out. People living in the 4 directions of the earth are guided by these words. Out of them emerges the indestructible Om. The universe rests on this Om. All kinds of knowledge, objective and subjective, flow out of Vedas for the benefit of mankind. All the speeches are encompassed by a single letter Om, which is indestructible Akshara. Om is thought of as being composed of 4 padas, A, U, and the indivisible Om, corresponding to the knowledge about gross perceived objects, about subtle perceived objects, about the causal world, and about Turiya, the indestructible, indescribable 4th pada. 164.43. Shakamayam. I have closely observed the powerful smoke of ignorance covering the truth. Through this cover of ignorance, learned men ripen their knowledge about the shining space, the cloud, etc. Thus, those laws of nature, Ruta, came into being for the first time, to be described in 164.15 detail. How nature's laws were arrived at is indicated in this book. A more detailed statement is presented in 164.50. Shining space signifies Purusha, the indestructible, birthless one, and ignorance is unreal or Mahamaya, the great illusion. 164.44. Taya Keshina. 3 entities with beautiful tresses look down upon the earth. One of them comes every year and shaves the ground. The second one illumines the universe by his rays, while the course of the third one is seen and not its form. Water comes down from the sky as rain, following an annual cycle that carries off a fine layer of the earth every year. The sun supplies all the energy requirement of the solar world, including the earth. Air is the formless one whose path is observable by its effect on the objects exposed to it. Chatvariva 164.45. Intelligent knowers of Brahman know the 4 quarters of that Atma, which is beyond words, indescribable by words. Of these 4, Turiya is concealed as though in a cave and not describable by words. Ordinary men talk about the other 3 quarters of Atma by means of words. The 4 quarters of Atma are mentioned earlier. Turiya, Atma, is located within the heart space of all human bodies. The first quarter is the gross world, the second is the subtle world, And the third one is the causal world. Indram Mitram Varunamagnim. This is the greatest Ruk in Rigveda. Oneness of the self, Atma, is truth. Wise men call it by different names, such as Indra, Mitra, Varuna, Agni the fire, Agni lightning, Yama, and air in the atmosphere. They also call it the sun, Garutman, with beautiful wings, and so on. Truth is oneness of the self, birthless Brahman. It is not a thing. This is the essence of non-dualism Advaita. The seer of the Ruk means the following: all through these 25 suktas, I might have glorified Atma by different names such as Indra, Agni, Vayu, etc. What I really mean is only that one, birthlessness. The same is the cause of all other sages also. From this one, it should be obvious to all reasonable men that the very essence of Rigveda is Ekam Sat, Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. What cannot be described by words, even by enlightened sages, is that one, oneless state. Oneness state. 164.47. Krishnam Niyanam Haraya. The attractive rays of the sun carry water particles upwards to form the dark clouds in the atmosphere. Later these water particles fall downwards from the dwellings of the rain, namely the clouds, and immediately the earth is moistened with water. Thus the sun causes appearance of rainwater. 164.48. Dvadasha. The wheel of time with one frame divided into or marked by 12 parts has a central core divided into 3, to which are fixed 360 pegs that move all the time. This Ruk deals with time wheel once more. Rim represents 1 year. It is divided into 12 parts or arcs called months. 360 pegs correspond to days. Time wheel revolves continuously. The year is divided into 3 4-month periods or 2 seasons. Yaste stana shashayo yo. 164.49. O presiding deity of learning, Saraswati, may you sustain us here with your pure contact, which is like your breast. With it you bestow all kinds of desirable things. You are the storehouse of all treasures, distributor of wealth, and good liberal donor. This may not require any explanation. 164/50. Yajnena yajnamayajanta deva. Another famous Ruk. Enlightened souls perform sacrifice with instruments of sacrifice. From this Rutha, the eternal laws and statutes of nature came into being for the first time. Those enlightened souls attained that painless state which was praised by the great sages in olden times, nearly the same as 10.90.16. How enlightened sages arrived at Rutha, the eternal laws of nature, is described in this Ruk, which is similar in content to that of 10.90.16. Painless state means birthless Brahman. Instruments of sacrifice would be the 7 paridhis of 10.90.15 and samidhas 21 of 10.90.15. With them, they arrived at the basic laws of nature, Rutha, from Satya, oneness, birthless state. We go to the next rec, 164.51. Samanameva. This water goes upwards during the day and downwards during the rainy season, when lightning illumines the earth and Agnis illumine the space. With the heat of the sun during the daytime, water moves upwards in vapor form and comes down as rain during the rainy season, accompanied by lightning and thunder. This may be symbolic of dawning of spiritual knowledge by considering lightning and Agni in the spiritual sense. Divyam, last verse in the Sukta, 164.52. Divyam Suparnam Vayasam. For our protection and preservation, I invoke again and again that guardian of waters and bestower of fertility, who is bright like the sun, possessing brilliant rays, who is moving, is the greatest among the stars. He is located in the space. He is like a womb. He is the cause of vision of plants. He is the delighter of all with rainwater and is fearless. This is the concluding rut from the great sage Dirghatama, ending his long sukta and thus putting an end to the series of suktas from him in this mandala. This sukta is important not only from its length but also the knowledge and wisdom contained in the Riks. Essence of Vedas is also found here. Unquestionably, this is the greatest sukta in Rig Veda. Complete comprehension of the ideas and principles propounded in this suktam makes one a Vedajna, a Brahmana. With this, we finish our session for the day. Viramastavat.